Hi everyone, welcome to volume 2 of Demystifying English. Welcome to volume 2 of Demystifying Tech Myths, and today we're actually going to be demystifying about 6 different tech myths that a lot of people actually believe and they talk about all the time. Are they true? Are they lies? Let's actually get right into it. The very first one is that headphones make you deaf. This is a tough one because I like headphones. I'm a huge lover of music. I listen to a lot of music with different types of apparatus and apparatuses. Apparati, I don't know which one is correct. Whatever the case is, headphones make you deaf. Is it true? Well, technically yes, also technically no. It kind of depends on how you use them. But headphones can definitely contribute to hearing loss over a specific or a more extended period of time. Some types of headphones are safer than others. So something like over-ear headphones are a lot more safer than using earbuds like Apple AirPods and I don't know, Samsung Galaxy Buds and all that stuff. If you're using Apple AirPods Max, the ones that go over your head, you're definitely at less risk of actually losing your hearing over time. Another thing to consider is going to be the volume that you're actually using the stuff at. So if you're using at really high volumes, you should be listening for less time. But again, I would always advise that you don't listen to music at extremely high volumes, especially if you're using earbuds and not even headphones. They go directly to the eardrums. It's quite dangerous. I mean, do you not love your life? Don't you like the ability to hear stuff? Something around 85 decibels is safe to use for around less than 8 hours, but anything that's around 100 decibels or over, you can't be listening to that for more than 15 minutes or you're probably gonna ruin your ears and go deaf. And the signs of danger for you to know when you're already going deaf for the headphones or earphones that you're using that ruining your life is you actually start hearing ringings in your ears, or maybe the sounds that you're hearing when people are talking to you are kind of muffled together. And if you need to increase the volume of the TV to be able to hear what they're saying properly, that's actually a red flag that your hearing might actually, hey God, Jesus, man, I always increase TV volume. Does that mean I'm going deaf? Anyways, these are the things you need to look out for and be careful about. The next thing that we want to actually debunk now is, are iPhones safer than Android phones? This one is going to piss a lot of people off, and I really wish I didn't have to talk about this. Again, I am not team Android or team iPhone. I'm somewhere in the middle because I actually use both every single day and I enjoy them. But if we want to actually, I mean, it depends on what you mean by safer, but if we want to actually look at it in layers, right? Let's talk about security. So hacking, malware, data leaks. The iPhone is definitely safer than an Android phone. The Android phone is definitely more susceptible than the iPhone is. Why that's the case, you cannot really ask me because I'm not the one creating the hardware or the software. That is just what it is. Android is open source, so it makes sense that there's going to be more vulnerabilities, right? Next thing is privacy. Is the iPhone safer than the Android when it comes to privacy? I would also say yes. Again, because it's an open source software, it's a lot easier to gain root access to an Android phone, root the device and so on and so forth, but you can't do that stuff on an iPhone, at least not anymore. Back in the days, we had Cydia and we could sideload apps and we could, you know, do all these things to our iPhones, but this was a long time ago. It hasn't existed for a moment. Ultimately, the Apple ecosystem is a lot safer simply because of this, right? And that's 2 for 2 out of 2 for the iPhone. And how is data handled? Apple markets itself as a privacy first on device, although I don't agree, but they do. And for Android, it's deeply tied to Google services. And we all know how much Google likes to spy. I don't even think they hide it anymore. They tell you you have privacy, but you don't really have any privacy, to be honest. But there are some Android manufacturers like Samsung, you know, why would I say Huawei? Huawei was basically banned by the US because of what they did by Trump. Anyway, point is, again, iPhone or Android phones, you expect that the iPhone is a lot safer because it just is ultimately. But if you're talking about safer in terms of radiation, physical durability, emergency features and so on, both phones have about the same amount of radiation they're emitting. Both phones have about the same security features when it comes to like emergency, health, etc. So it makes no difference. It's about the balanced playing field in that regard. So if we're using points scoring system, yes, the iPhone is a bit safer than an Android phone is. Please don't be offended. Don't stone me in the comment section. I'm just saying the truth. The third myth we actually want to address today is that according to some safety ratings, Teslas are the safest cars in the world. As a matter of fact, the Model 3 specifically might be, if not the safest car with the highest safety ratings ever. And I really hoped for this to not be true because I particularly am not a huge fan of electric cars. A lot of people would think, tech guy, you must definitely love electric cars. Absolutely not. I would never drive a microwave that has wheels. I won't do it. But it is, as a matter of fact, true that Teslas are widely recognized as the safest cars ever tested based on independent safety ratings. So in the US, NHTSA, Europe, the NCAP, in Australia, ANCAP, it's just super safe. Why are they so safe? Because they have batteries underneath them and they have a very, very low center of gravity, right? That helps a lot. Cars like that would often not flip in a really, really bad accident. There's also the EV design advantage, right? For example, I drive a BMW that has is it straight 6 they call it. It's not a V6, so it takes up a lot of bonnet space, right? So it's like almost front heavy. But the beautiful thing is, because of BMW's engineering, the car is able to balance on a knife edge if they put it in the center of anything. The front and the back is considered when they are considering their design and stuff. But with Teslas, they don't have to worry about things like that because they don't have a heavy engine inside of the car. There's also advanced softwares that help you keep your lanes and, you know, autopilot and help you drive. If maybe, for example, a driver is driving and has an heart attack, you don't have to worry about that driver causing an accident because the safety features in the Tesla can kick in and actually get that person safely to their destination or get them home if that's the case. That's probably why Teslas are safer. They score extremely well when it comes to crash tests as well. I mean, imagine the Cybertruck hitting a tree or hitting another car. That car is gone. The front of the car is even like knife edges. So of course it's definitely safer. And I'm very, very happy about that for Elon Musk and his family members. The next myth that we want to actually talk about is if smartwatches, actually I have a smartwatch here. No, I don't. It's not on this table. If smartwatches are actually dangerous for your health. A lot of people somehow, for some reason, believe this. I personally don't follow that school of thought, mostly because I have seen smartwatches help people with their health more often than not. Because using an Apple Watch Series 4 several years ago, I was able to lose over 40 kg in the space of 90 days just from consistently closing my circles and doing the things that my watch was getting me to do and just staying consistent with it, watching what I eat and so on and so forth. A lot of people's stories are different. I've heard stories of people who were about to have an heart attack and then their watch warned them about their blood pressure and this and that. Again, it depends on how you're using it and what you're using it for. The people who want to talk about things being bad for your health are probably going to talk about like radiation, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Also, I have read in my comment section once when I talked about the Galaxy Watch that somebody said he bought one for his wife and the rubber irritated her skin and she had like a really severe reaction and she ended up in the hospital. So those types of things are kind of one-offs. They're not normal. They're not things that happen to every single person, but they can, as a matter of fact, happen to select people, especially if you have some allergies prior or beforehand, right? Some materials you might just be allergic to. Also, there's absolutely no reason why you're wearing your smartwatch to sleep. All those vibrations from notifications vibrating onto your hand when you're supposed to be getting REM sleep or getting sleep. There is, however, people who wear their watches to sleep because, you know, they want to monitor their sleep and know how well they're sleeping and things like that. For those people, I would recommend you use a ring instead, because this is not going to give you any haptic feedback or notify you of anything. It's just going to record the data and put it on your phone when you actually eventually wake up. It's a lot more inconspicuous and it doesn't take space and it's not going to wake you up. So this over this if you're trying to sleep well, ultimately. The next thing we want to talk about is Apple is the next BlackBerry because of the AI race. A lot of people believe Apple is going to die. They're about to die. The thing is, I'm recording this video a day before the next Apple event announcing the next iPhone. I don't know when you're going to be seeing this video, but ultimately, we don't know what they're going to bring out tomorrow. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess now and tell you categorically. While I don't necessarily think Apple is going to be the next BlackBerry, I do think that yes, they've started digging the pit for their own downfall and their end is actually very near if they are not careful. Looking at the AI race, they are significantly behind. They are losing woefully. If you compare the AI features that we have on Gemini, things like Folax that even Infinix has, Pixel phones, Samsung having their Galaxy AI, and what you have on Apple intelligence that is not really intelligencing. In fact, I have never been so more disappointed. The iPhone 17 is about to be released. I have an iPhone 16 for a year and I still don't have Apple intelligence. How disappointing is that? And the whole marketing for that phone, the reason why I spent 3 million naira buying that stupid brick is because they told me that it's going to have Apple intelligence. You see, oh Jesus. Yes, I do not believe that Apple is going to be the next BlackBerry, except they're extremely stupid. They're still one of the highest valued companies in the world. And I do think a company like that can quickly self-correct and actually manage and turn things around. Also, we cannot entirely judge the entire business because of one product that they produce, which is the iPhone. They do produce many other things like the iPad, which is excellent, the MacBooks, which I swear by, and they're the only devices I use, right? They produce so many other things, the iMac, the Mac Pro, etc., etc. Those things are not going away anytime soon, and I don't even see any other person bringing competition that actually defeats those products. So that one side. The final thing that we want to actually talk about is that, well, this is technically a myth, but a lot of people believe that electric cars are just as bad for the environment as fuel cars. I'm on the fence about this. I agree with both sides. I believe that it's better in the long run I also believe that it's dangerous in the short term. You know, it's very weird. Yes, internal combustion engine cars are going to emit CO2 into the environment, and you cannot undo that stuff. Even if you have a catalytic converter, blah, 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 you will still emit CO2. You understand? And EVs are not going to emit anything. But you also have to consider the fact that when you're trying to manufacture EV batteries, right, you have to mine lithium, cobalt, nickel, and all these things. And the process of mining those things is not exactly the most environmentally safe. Also, when the battery of the EV are destroyed and they need to recycle it, or they don't recycle it and it's abandoned, this could also be like very, very dangerous to the environment. So it completely depends on where you are. In a place like Nigeria now, yes, I would agree completely that EVs are just as dangerous for the environment. I mean, how are you generating the electricity that you are using to power the EV? I've seen a video of somebody who owned a Tesla who has an under generator inside the trunk of the Tesla. So when the car dies on the road, it starts the generator, plugs in the car, and then what the hell is that, bro? Like that defeats the purpose, doesn't it? You need to use clean energy to charge your clean energy car so that you can be, you know, your carbon footprint can be less. So use like a Tesla solar roof or solar panels or something, or a Tesla power battery on the wall, something like that. Don't be using coal and fuel to power your Tesla and say you're helping the environment. You're not really doing anything. You're actually potentially burning even more by doing that, in case you're not aware. And again, all of this is about end of life, right? Initially, at the beginning, yes, the internal combustion engine cars, you know, leave less carbon footprints when they are being made, but over time they're going to burn more CO2. And then the mining for the batteries for the electric cars are also just as dangerous. So I mean, potato. I feel like like I said, I'm in the middle of this. I can't really stand for one side or the other. I can only say to each his own ultimately. Let's know what you actually think about this particular one in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. We're gonna debunk some other myths. You're welcome.